The day didn't go well from the start, which was pretty much expected for a Saturday. Saturdays often brought an influx of customers, especially in our small restaurant, where weekends were synonymous with chaos. The staff was stressed to the max, and the endless stream of orders left no room for error or respite. It was a day where patience was exhausted, temperaments flared, and tension was felt from the moment the doors opened. All too often, it was the first thing that was put on the table, and such tension was felt from the moment the doors opened. To my job, my wife and I owned a small restaurant business, and every weekend was busy. I helped my employees by standing at the bar and making sure everything ran smoothly. My wife had recently moved to a neighboring town to stay with her parents, so without her help, things were tight. Waiters were running between the kitchen and the lounge, picking up and distributing orders. The pressure was constant, and it seemed like the hustle and bustle would never subside. To keep afloat, I took on extra tasks, juggling duties and coordinating. The bartender was struggling to keep up, and the staff was stretched thin. Anna, that was her name, stood out among the staff. She had an amazing ability to connect with customers, making even the grumpiest customers leave with a smile. Her laughter often filled the air, brightening the mood during the busiest shifts. Anna had a knack for anticipating problems before they occurred and finding solutions that kept chaos at bay. Her willingness to lend a helping hand when needed, and her genuine warmth made her a pillar of the team. She was outgoing, pleasant, and always willing to help wherever she could. The tiny space behind the bar became our shared battleground for the day, and we often ran into each other in the chaotic pace of service. Her cheerful demeanor, despite the rush, brought some lightness to the tense atmosphere. During a brief lull, when half the tables were occupied and there were still no new customers, I turned to Anna. "If anything, I'll be taking visitors here." "Well, Mr. Harris, thank you," she replied with a charming smile before disappearing into the staff room. Her energy was infectious, even as the day went on. Hours later, as we saw off the last of our customers, the staff began to disperse, leaving the restaurant in eerie silence. Only Anna and I were left, wrapping up the day's work. She was busy closing the cash register and cleaning up the bar, while I was sorting out the receipts at one of the tables. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that Anna had changed her clothes. The soft light from the overhead lamps illuminated her new outfit, drawing attention to her casual yet stylish look. The short denim skirt and fitted shirt seemed to transform her from the diligent employee I'd worked with all day to a completely different one, ready for a carefree evening. The contrast was stark, catching me off guard, and making the quiet, dimly lit restaurant feel even more intimate. She was now wearing a short denim skirt and fitted shirt, a casual look that caught me off guard. Noticing my surprised look, she explained, "A friend of mine called me for a walk after work. We should meet up soon." I nodded and tried to focus on the task at hand, but my thoughts were still scattered. Anna sat across from me, leafing through her phone with casual ease. She crossed one leg over the other, her skirt barely restraining her movement. Despite my attempts to maintain a professional appearance, I began to furtively peek at her, and my imagination betrayed me. "Exercise modifications. To reduce the stress, improve your clarity of thought, and enhance your focus. Take an oral medication." "Here we go," Anna muttered, disappointment audible in her voice. "They're going to be late." "That's okay," I replied, hiding my inner turmoil. "Can you wait here? Then we'll close the restaurant together." She shrugged and began wiping down the table we were sitting at, her movements sharp but graceful. When she turned her back and leaned in slightly, a surge of emotion swept over me, taking me by surprise. Determined to regain my composure, I approached her, made small talk about her day, and suggested she relax while waiting for her friends. As the conversation progressed, I realized how close we had become. A subtle but intoxicating scent of perfume emanated from her. The air between us seemed charged, an unspoken bond simmering just beneath the surface. My heart raced as I noticed the faint flutter in her breath, and the way she looked at me with a mixture of curiosity and hesitation. The soft hum of the overhead lights and the distant clinking of dishes in the kitchen only added to the tension, making the moment seem frozen in time. Inwardly, I struggled with the appropriateness of my thoughts, but I couldn't deny that I was drawn to her, that the atmosphere seemed to envelop us like an invisible thread, drawing us closer. Anna didn't pull away. Instead, she held my gaze, the expression on her face unreadable, yet tantalizing. In a moment of weakness, I reached out and gently pulled her around my waist and sat her down on the table. She snuggled against me, her arms around my shoulders. The rest of the world seemed to dissolve as I surrendered to the moment. My hands moved lower, and I did what I wanted. Each touch elicited a response, a connection that seemed both unexpected and undeniable. The hard work of the day seemed to dissolve into the warmth of the lingering memories of the rush, the clinking of glasses, and the chatter of satisfied customers seemed distant now, replaced by the tranquility of the empty restaurant. Every moment of the day's chaos had accumulated in this silence, making it seem even more profound. It was as if the room itself exhaled, mirroring my own tension and allowing me to fully appreciate the quiet connection that now filled the space. It was a fleeting escape, a moment of vulnerability and connection that neither of us could resist. The restaurant, once filled with the noise of customers and staff, now stood in silence, silently watching the intimacy unfold. If you enjoyed this story, support it with a like and subscribe for more stories.